Hey everyone, it's Ryder from Skip. I hope you're doing well. It's Tuesday, November 30th. Breaking news today, the SBA Inspector General has released their semi-annual report to Congress, which has some very surprising findings, including the total percent of all EIDL applications that were flagged for fraud, how many billions of dollars were recouped because of these investigations, and what percentage that is of total EIDL spending. I'll hit the highlights here. It's a must watch for anyone who's taken SBA funding over the past 2 years. By the way, I'm recording this in the Charlotte airport today. A special on the road edition, plus big economic news. Jerome Powell warns that they may reduce bond purchases even faster because of the increased inflation. I'll keep today's video short. Most importantly, thanks so much for tuning in, subscribing, turning on alerts, and giving this video a like. You know, if you want funding support for yourself or your small business, we still have great Cyber Monday deals through today, including 60% off our annual one-on-one support. The link is right at the top of the description. It's a huge discount if you've been thinking about getting one-on-one support from our team for the entire next year. If you book it today, you'll save over $500. Plus, if you're curious about our support, you can get chat support on our website, but you can also text us now, 650-695-6133. I'll leave that number below as well. Our team is there during normal business hours. Okay, here it is, hot off the press. The semi-annual report to Congress. If you're wondering what happens to those hundreds of billions of dollars that get approved, what's the oversight mechanism, this is it. Basically, this 51-page report that the SBA OIG has prepared to report back to Congress. Here it is in green. Every 6 months, we report to Congress as required by law. One of the main takeaways here, working in concert with our law enforcement partners over the past year, more than 300 fraudsters have been brought to justice and nearly $1 billion seized or recovered to make taxpayers whole. Here it is for the EIDL program. $995 million stolen by fraudsters was recovered by the OIG. That's about 1/3% of the total EIDL funding. They also take credit in playing a key role in assisting financial institutions for the return of another $3.1 billion. So all told, it's around $4 billion that they recovered, which is around 1% of the total EIDL funding. Here it is, $300 billion have been approved. $4 billion, according to this report, has been recovered due to fraud or some other reason. So just to keep that in mind, that's around 1%. So during the 6-month period, OIG issued 7 reports, many of which I did videos on to highlight important takeaways for you, especially if you're a small business owner that's still waiting. This helps you give an indication of what improvements are being made, how much fraud actually exists, basically some more data for you to better understand these programs and what to expect. Now, one of the things I want to mention is there's still plenty of money left. Here it is in green, $470 billion in COVID EIDL funds was approved by Congress for the SBA. Only $302 billion has been distributed. That's only around 65% that's been distributed. Plus, Congress also approved in total $35 billion for grants, as you know, targeted and supplemental, up to $15K per business. $4.3 billion in targeted advances has been distributed, and $1.9 billion in supplemental. So a lot of money still left there, even though some of that extra money was taken and was put towards the infrastructure bill. Now, this is the most surprising thing in the report. The OIG reported SBA had referred more than 845,000 COVID EIDL applications to the OIG for suspected identity theft. That basically means that for every 5 approved COVID EIDL applications, 1 of them was flagged for suspected identity theft. Again, just because they were flagged doesn't mean it was actually fraud. And this is pretty big here. The OIG found the SBA officials were not tracking identity theft complaints at the time of this review and this report, nor did they have a process in place to cease collection actions, release the identity theft victim from loan liability, or charge off the loan and related fees. So they talk about a couple notable investigations. A couple I've highlighted in the past. An Oregon man pled guilty to stealing PPP and EIDL funding. He submitted 9 PPP loan applications, 6 of which were accepted, securing over $3.4 million. He also applied for numerous EIDLs, funded for an additional $160,000. The man then purchased real estate and invested in securities, transferring more than $1.8 million of those PPP funds to his E-Trade Securities brokerage account. That included over 15,000 shares of Tesla. And there's a couple other examples. One of the things they highlight in the report is that the OIG did a lot of presentations to SBA staff internal stakeholders and external stakeholders to raise awareness of fraud, waste, and abuse related to the SBA programs. More than 1,250 participants attended those events. So in the report, they list out all of the investigations and indictments that they did. If you're curious, I'll leave a link to this report below. In short, the OIG had 126 investigations, 97 complaints or indictments, 68 arrests, and 63 convictions. It's good to keep in mind where your tax money is going and the magnitude of the fraud problems. You know, we've talked about this a lot. The bottom line is, while it is a major issue, the funding we're talking about is still less than 1% of the total distributed funding. Okay, stocks are down today for this reason. Jerome Powell today, the Fed chair, warns that elevated inflation justifies faster reduction of bond purchases. He said this today: the risk of higher inflation has increased, when he testified to lawmakers. So in his testimony, he signaled the central bank would consider quickening the wind down of its easy money policies as it grapples with elevated inflation, which would open the door to raising interest rates in the first half of next year, which is sooner than what was expected. Originally, it was expected interest rates may go up middle of 2022, not the first half of next year. So that news, coupled with growing concerns over the new variant, had stocks and global oil prices having another significant decline today. That's two major declines in the last 3 trading days. Here's how that looks. Both the Dow and the S&P fell nearly 2%. Of course, a lot of people may have anticipated these inflation risks. The Omicron situation, of course, is brand new, so I certainly expect there will be some more economic fallout from this in the coming days. I'll keep you posted there. Most importantly, the link to the report right below. If you want to get one-on-one funding support, you can still get 60% off an annual one-on-one support by using the link in the description today. And you can always text us 650-695-6133. Most importantly, stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you tomorrow.